Welcome everybody back to the Athlete Inquirer radio show. My name is Justin Kish. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. Today guys, I'm here bringing you guys another video of AJ Styles. Yes, last night I made a video of AJ Styles and my personal reaction of him coming to the WWE. I know AJ Styles back around 2000, 2001 was when he made his first ever match with the WWE. I don't know who he competed against at the top of my head, but you know, he did make his wrestling debut with the WWE just back around 2000, 2001 time. But you can't really call that a debut if it was only a one and done kind of deal. So initially, I considered last night making him his WWE debut, a full-time wrestler with the WWE. A lot of stuff going on with him in TNA. And last night, we did not know exactly, what was going to transpire. I said last night in my reaction video that I was not really impressed with AJ Styles, during the match at the Royal Rumble. I know there were some highlights of, him being, the most over guy in the Royal Rumble. I know he was trying to hit the Styles Clash like 3 times. Was unsuccessful during it. He was just dominating throughout the entire Royal Rumble. But if you guys want to listen to my full reaction, make sure you guys click on the prior video in our wrestling library. You guys can listen to my thoughts on AJ Styles' WWE debut at the Royal Rumble. But now, the Rumble is now over. AJ Styles is not the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. It is now on to, what is next for AJ Styles. What is AJ Styles' first feud going to be? Now, I was listening to the Vince Russo, Wrestling Inc. podcast, or the Royal Rumble review last night, immediately after the Royal Rumble, and, they were answering some questions. I immediately, thought of the idea, why not Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles? Now, 2 independent wrestlers coming to the WWE, 2 of the biggest names in the indie scene, for the longest time. Kevin Owens came over, or Kevin Steen at the time, comes over to the WWE, wins NXT Gold, comes over to the main roster, wins the Intercontinental Championship, just completely is just like the hottest superstar on the scene. Yes, he is a mid-card guy, but you know what, this is going, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens has really made a huge impact in his time in the WWE. AJ Styles on the other hand, leaving TNA lowballed him to try to re-sign him. He did not want to go back to, he eventually did not go with TNA, goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, joins the Bullet Club, does phenomenal work, no pun intended, does phenomenal work, with the Bullet Club out there in New Japan, and now he's coming over to the WWE. Immediately, as soon as he made his entrance way into the Royal Rumble matchup and Kevin Owens came out, it was immediately that Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, duked it out. We saw a lot of, duke out moments in the Royal Rumble, but I honestly think that the AJ Styles Kevin Owens, duke out was probably one of the most memorable. I think that's going to be a phenomenal, it's going to be an excellent setup for a rivalry between the 2. Now, I do agree with Dave Meltzer 100%. I think that, Kevin Owens and AJ Styles will both benefit, with, a rivalry to kick off, the whole new fresh, start for both superstars. The Dean Ambrose storyline with Kevin Owens is all than likely done. It's now time to move on to something new. I think Kevin Owens is just, a couple of matches here and there with the hot superstar, then he's on to the next one. He did it with John Cena, now he did it with Dean Ambrose. He was unsuccessful getting his IC title back, but, now it's on to a whole new story. AJ Styles needs somebody fresh and new. They're not going to throw AJ Styles, down to the mid card and just have nothing for him. You got to give somebody, who's a hot commodity, someone who's, at the, mid card level. I think that's where the WWE is going to start AJ Styles at, since he's not going to be down at NXT. He has really got to prove to, the fans that, he is, he's going to be over. I know he's already is over right now, but the WWE has got to work him up a little bit. So Kevin Owens is an excellent starting point, and I think that these guys can have the same kind of matchups that John Cena and Kevin Owens have, but a little bit more exciting. AJ Styles is more of a high flyer. He does a lot of great things, a lot of, aerial moves like that. I cannot wait until he hits the Styles Clash as well. So there's just a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement going into a rivalry with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. So let me hear your guys' opinion about this. Do you guys think that this is a great setup for Kevin Owens and AJ Styles? How do you think they would benefit from this? I think it's going to be a great, rivalry, to put on to Raw. They don't have a lot of good superstars right now on the roster. All their main guys, Randy Orton, John Cena, Cesaro, all these guys are all gone, and Seth Rollins as well. A lot of people are gone, and it is really hurting the company. But now that you got AJ Styles, probably in a couple of weeks, you got Nakamura coming over. Hopefully that he does come to the main roster. There is not official, there's nothing 100%, nothing new on the Nakamura situation. I know Austin Aries down NXT is such a great time to be a professional wrestling fan as a general whole. So leave your guys' comments down below. Make sure to check out our Facebook page, our Twitter page. All the links are down below in the description for you guys. My name is Justin Kish, and I'll catch you guys in our next